discuss.
We do have, yes. And again, you mentioned something about pressure from other countries. I know that there has been pressure from other countries. For example, like the EU. One criterion to be a member of the EU is that you cannot have capital punishment
well, we will never
on your books, because that is in Europe. Of course, that's European Union, but in Europe, you have to have the abolition of capital punishment in order to be a member of the European Union. And the European Union, of course, offers a lot of aid to the Caribbean and things like that. And they're saying that, look, we are pushing to have the abolishment of the death penalty within the Caribbean region, and that is why they have started this dialogue, even though they're meeting a lot of resistance and so on. So sometimes, even in terms of what is perceived as, you know, the decriminalization or the abolishment of certain things that are seen in violation to human rights, pressure can come to bear from these larger countries to these smaller countries who do not want to abide by what they think they should abide by. For example, even the LGBT, and all persons have rights. Everyone has rights, and every group has rights. But the important thing to teach is that we must recognize that all human beings have rights. It doesn't matter what a person's race, a person's orientation, sexual orientation, a person's nationality, a person's color, a person's religion, that each human being has rights that must be respected.
And I think respect is key. Respect is the operational word there, because, you know, once you respect people, no matter what their beliefs are, you know, you can tolerate.
Right.
Yes. And I think we need to build tolerance in our society.
Right. And in terms of foreign relations, foreign affairs, isn't this a key word in terms of how we relate, in terms of diplomacy, respect and tolerance for other people and their cultures and other countries and so on? Isn't this an important pillar of any aspect of foreign affairs or international relations?
It is, and that is why we do seek to have representation in non-traditional areas of the world. Dubai, they have a different culture. Most of their people follow a different religion. But it is important that we get to understand. I think understanding is key, and respect as well.
So those are keys to and the whole thing also of social justice. You know, sometimes we tend to forget that, because we think that there are certain persons within the society who certainly must be excluded, and other persons must be included for whatever reason. But at the very same time, we are hampering development when we do not include all groups, whether we like them or not, within the society, because they too must have a voice in their own development and the development in the society of which they are a part.
And if we were to get back to the theme of Diplomatic Week, it is forging new partnerships and strengthening networks for economic growth and sustainable development. I think that we tend to think that we can only forge networks with the overseas community, but charity begins at home, and I think it is important for us to realize, even in our own society, how important it is to build relationships and to nurture them for mutual benefit. And so even as we think about foreign affairs, which is our area of concentration today, we must also think of how we can forge relationships in our own community, so that, I mean, that will spill over into the broader sphere. We have our dignitaries visiting us, coming to our shores. They're going to sense the climate and feel the atmosphere and see whether people get along with people. And so that, you know, the way we get along with persons in our own society can reflect to the international community what sort of tolerance level we have for our own people and for our visitors.
Now, sometimes we don't hear too much really about our friends, and you have called out quite a number of friends that St. Kitts and Nevis has. Sometimes we only hear about some of our friends. For example, we hear a lot about our relationship with Taiwan as being such a very good partner. And actually on the ground, we can actually see what the Republic of China and Taiwan is actually doing in the Federation in terms of our development and cooperation in so many areas. But some of these other countries with whom you say that we have relations with, bilateral relations, diplomatic relations, sometimes you hardly hear anything at all about them.
And that is why Diplomatic Week is important, because we believe bringing persons here, bringing them before the media, before the public, they themselves can understand the importance of bilateral relations, where our partners are and what they do for us, and how we can also reciprocate. We know Turkey is coming, Morocco, Vietnam. These are places that, you know, people in St. Kitts may not really know what they do for us and what we do for them. How do we relate and cooperate? But they will understand that in the international arena, we do give support by our vote for their candidatures, and in turn they may assist us in different areas, not least in scholarships, but hopefully in infrastructural development and so on. So we hope that we can further develop our relations to achieve more than just a few scholarships here and there. But if they come and they see what is needed infrastructurally, they can commit to supporting us in those areas.
Well, we have spoken about a number of things. Is there anything else that you want to highlight in terms of your ministry? And in terms of, you know?
Well, I must say before I close, Mr. Williams, that I have a very supportive staff, and I want to commend all of the staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have all come on board to assist in whatever initiatives and projects the ministry undertakes. And I am very pleased with all of the workers. They have worked diligently, in particular with respect to Diplomatic Week. And I would want to publicly thank them and show my appreciation for their support in the ministry. We have senior officers, we have junior officers, but all of us do come together to effect the work of the ministry, and the support is always felt. They are hard-working people, and I think they're not always recognized, but now that I have this opportunity, I think the minister will appreciate, and he himself is appreciative of the work of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He sometimes says that.
Yes.
But I, myself as Permanent Secretary, would like to take this opportunity to thank the staff, the entire staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, for their commitment and support to the work of the entire ministry, and by extension the government of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay, we still have a few minutes left on.
Well, I appreciate that, because I failed to mention, Mr. Williams, that in preparing for Diplomatic Week, we have had the support also of different arms of the government.
Sure.
The Ministry of Education will be loaning us 2 buses, for transportation purposes. The Ministry of Tourism will be providing tour guides. The Office of the Prime Minister will be assisting with vehicles for transportation as well. And different ministries will be presenting on Tuesday at the Marriott on different aspects of their work. And so I would want to commend all of the ministries that will be, and the different agencies, KIPA, NIPA, Tourism Authority, etc., that will be working in tandem with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that Diplomatic Week is successful.
Sure. And we still have a few more minutes left. So those of you who want to call in, the lines are still open, 465-2555, and the international line is 1-718-577-2916. I have here with me Ms. Kaye Bass, who is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, and we're having a very lively discussion here in terms of Diplomatic Week, in terms of our relationships with other countries around the world, and how important it is that we forge new partnerships, we strengthen networks for our sustainable growth and economic development.
Mr. Williams will also be using the week to showcase some of the products that are made in St. Kitts. We'll have a mini exhibition stationed or based at the Marriott on Tuesday from 8 in the morning until 4 p.m. We have the craft house, different vendors will be there exhibiting some of their craft. And so even though it is an exhibition for the delegates or dignitaries that will be coming in, if any member of the public will be in that area, they're also invited to come and see. And so this will give the diplomats an opportunity to see what we produce in St. Kitts. And so I am very pleased about that. Pleased also with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. They will be hosting a breakfast, and they have been instrumental in organizing the exhibitors. And on Friday, we'll be moving from the Marriott to the OTI, where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the staff, as well as our honorary consuls based overseas and our heads of mission will be coming together for a capacity building exercise. We have joining us by Skype the Dr. Jovan Kubalijo. He's the director of Diplo Foundation and head of Geneva Internet Platform. He will be giving training in e-diplomacy. We think that it is important in this world of information and communication technology that our representatives become even more aware of how internet and its tools can be an asset to their work. And so we are very pleased to have coming on board at to us and the government. It is being funded by CS Global out of the UK, and thanks to our High Commissioner in London, he was instrumental in ensuring that we got funding for this training. So we are pleased that we'll have that. Our heads of missions and honorary consuls will also have an opportunity to report on the work that they do. That will be on Friday. And the ministry, with all of its staff and heads of missions, honorary consuls, will discuss the way forward. What are we doing that is good? What are we doing that we can abandon? What strategies can we develop to become more efficient and effective? And so we look forward to a very fruitful exercise next week.
Okay. Well, Ms. Bass, I want to thank you so much for taking time out. I know that you're very busy and that you left a workshop that you were attending to be here to share with us, so importantly, what your ministry is doing, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, and also to share with us in terms of Diplomatic Week and some other developments within your ministry, and for that we are grateful. You have been listening to Working for You. I am your host, Lesroy Williams. We will be back next week. Thank you very much for listening. For those of you who called in, we thank you for your calls. For those of you who asked questions or gave comments, we thank you very much. You are very important to us and to this program as we seek to inform you in terms of what the government is doing. Have a pleasant good afternoon.
Working for You. A weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts-Nevis government. Join host Lesroy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts-Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. station. Working for you ears weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for you.